News Talk 1270. Is this Liz Cheney?
This is.
Okay. We only had 4 lines, and I guess I finally got the one that you were. The lines all blew up right during the break, so
Sure.
I was kind of worried that you might not be able to make it through.
No. Well, it's great to be with you. Obviously, you're getting lots of folks calling in, which is always good, Don.
Oh,
Thank you for having me
absolutely.
on.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I know it's been a while, and I didn't really want to ask you about this today, but since I just heard at the top of the hour, it looks like there might be some kind of deal. I mean, what do you think about the whole shutdown and the debt, the debt limit debacle that we're looking at right now?
Well, I would agree with you that it is a debacle. I think, first of all, everybody outside Washington is watching what's going on in Washington now. I think just, shaking their heads and, frankly, pretty disgusted with the mess. And the idea that, we're governing from crisis to crisis and we keep running right up against, these terrific deadlines and, folks just aren't getting the job done. And I put, obviously, the majority of the blame for that, at President Obama's feet. I think that he consistently has refused to negotiate. When you turn on the TV and the breaking news is that President Obama called Speaker Boehner, that tells you how completely out of whack things have gotten. But, obviously Washington is totally and utterly broken. I think that you've got a lot of good folks who are trying hard, people like Ted Cruz, for example, trying hard to prevent the train wreck of Obamacare from completely taking hold, and I applaud those efforts. But I just, I think overall this is a clear sign that, it's time for change. We need new people there. We need a new generation there, folks who know how to lead. And we if anybody operated, in the private sector, in their jobs, the way that the folks in Washington are operating today, we'd all get fired. And, I think the people deserve better from their elected representatives. They deserve people who are going to go back there and get the people's business done.
Well, and we actually had a caller today that called in with the idea that we should actually impeach all the members of Congress. I think the only way we can really do that at this point is just to show up for the elections and vote, vote our conscience, and hopefully the right thing gets done. Now, yeah. Now, I mean, of course, you're calling in because you're going to actually be out at the Oktoberfest at Camplex this weekend. Let's see, Saturday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And you're going to have a booth out there. I mean, what are you going to be doing?
Well, we'll be out there. I'll be there from 10 to 12 on Saturday, and the Cheney for Wyoming booth is booth number 56. We'd love to see anybody who's out there. Love to stop by and talk to folks, and then I'll also have a chance to walk around and talk to all of the great businesses that are going to be represented at the expo. It's a terrific event that the radio network's putting on, and I'm really pleased to be part of it. And it's the way that campaigning and politics works across Wyoming. You and I have talked about this before, Don, is very much having the chance to talk to people face to face. And, I think that's the most important thing that any candidate for any office in Wyoming can do.
Right. It's pretty much the old-fashioned way of doing things.
No, it sure is. And, I think people have the right to want to, talk to folks in person before they decide whether or not they're going to vote for them. And I've certainly it's just been overwhelming and heartwarming. We've traveled about 11,000 miles now since I launched the campaign in mid-July, and have had the chance to, talk to folks all over the state. And the response and both sort of the outpouring of support, but also, the concern that people feel about what's happening, about what this president's policies are doing to Wyoming, especially the coal industry. We talk about that every single day out there, the need to really have leaders who are going to fight back and go on offense against the president in his war on coal, and who will really fight to defend the coal industry. It's way past time we had somebody back there who was doing that, and that's certainly what I plan to do.
Now, yeah, and it's really, of course, it's close to home here with the coal industry, and it seems like there's almost a renewed effort with this war on coal. I mean, every week I see news stories about these EPA regulations. I think it's going to be a little bit of a maybe a couple years down the road. I mean, it's going to be a major problem. And if you don't nip it in the bud now, it's going to be a real problem.
No, that's exactly right. And I think that clearly we're at this critical moment of decision, because the next 3.5 years, the end of the Obama administration, you're going to see this administration and bureaucrats at the EPA and the BLM all across the board really going aggressively to make sure that their policies take hold before he leaves office. They're going to be doing everything they can to push hard, frankly, to try to destroy the coal industry. They're going to, be at war with fossil fuels across the board. And we can't just keep going along to get along. We can't just keep saying, well, you know what, we're going to work behind the scenes. We need to have a leader in Washington, somebody who's going to stand up and who's going to be able to attract the support and work for the support of people all across the country on behalf of coal, and say to folks, look, this is going to devastate Wyoming. That's true if the president wins. But it's also going to mean you aren't going to have affordable electricity across this nation. It's likely to mean brownouts across this nation. And there is no reason at all that the President of the United States should be using the power of his office and the massive overreach of his federal agencies to destroy an industry that has meant so much to this nation and continues to this day to mean so much to the nation and to our state. And we just, we don't have a choice. We can't keep going along to get along. We got to stand up and fight back.
Now, Anna, I hate to ask you to speculate, but I mean, why do you think the administration has been singling out the energy industry and coal in particular? I mean, why do you think they're doing this?
I think that the president has a completely fanciful, idea in his head that somehow the nation can run on green alternative energy. I think he really believes that, we could move off of sort of the use of fossil fuels, and he'd like to see that happen. He's got a lot of allies in the radical environmentalist area who are fighting for that, even though it's totally illogical, impractical, impossible, not feasible. But they don't care about any of that. And so what they want to do, and it's also not based on fact. I mean, when the EPA issued these latest regulations, on the coal industry, they admitted in the report that released the regulations that the regulations themselves and the new emission standards for the power plants are not going to have any effect or any impact overall on global warming. They've got this idea that carbon dioxide is a pollutant. I would really like to see us, for example, pass legislation in the Senate, in the House, that prohibits the EPA from regulating carbon dioxide as a pollutant. That would certainly go a long way towards taking some of the pressure off the coal industry. But the president, he's trying to throw a bone to his political base, and he's doing it at the expense of Wyoming because he doesn't get too many votes out of Wyoming. But he's doing it at the expense, frankly, of affordable energy across this country and the potential that we could be energy independent. And he doesn't want to see that happen because now that we realize the extent of the resources that are truly available for us in the United States, energy independence is not that far away, but that really upsets his plans to move completely to alternative sources of energy.
And I find it interesting that you mentioned that the president doesn't get a lot of votes out of Wyoming. If you really notice, a lot of the states that are highly impacted by these policies are red states. I mean, it almost goes back to the old punish your political enemies deal that we heard a few years back.
Yeah, I think if you go down the list of everything this president has, essentially declared war on, whether it's the coal industry, fossil fuels, our Second Amendment rights, our First Amendment rights, across the board, it all really adds up to a war on Wyoming, and to the values that have made this state great and the values on which the state was founded. The president has essentially gone on offense against every single one of those, and that's the reason I got in this race. I think that we have to stop sitting on the sidelines, and we got to fight back to defend Wyoming values, to defend our freedom, to defend the Constitution, to defend the rule of law against an administration that, frankly, doesn't care too much about any of those things. And we don't have a lot of time, because if in this next election cycle we don't start fighting back, the president really will have a sort of a free run of the field until he's out of office, in 3.5 years, and I just don't think we can let that happen.
Yeah, I think most of our listeners would probably heartily agree with that. Now, I mean, a story came out today, and I'm not going to get into the specifics of the numbers, but it showed that you're raising a decent amount of money. How's the campaign going? I mean, not just the fundraising, but as far as as far as the campaign itself.
Well, thank you for asking, Don. It's just going great, and as I said before, the best word for me to describe the response out there on the campaign trail is just heartwarming. And it's heartwarming because I have had the chance to see so many old friends. I've had the chance to talk to so many supporters. I've had the chance to talk to, folks who may be on the fence, haven't decided which way they're going to go yet, but they've, given me the honor of taking the time to have a conversation about where I am on the issues and what I think we need to do differently. And it's just, it really is how our system is supposed to work. And I feel so honored to be part of it, so honored to have the chance to be in this race to represent the people of Wyoming. It's been especially great for me because I've been able, with my husband Phil and the kids out on the trail a good part of the time with us. It's just special. As a mom, it's always wonderful to have the kids there helping in this effort. And it's great for kids today, too, to be involved in something that's bigger than themselves, for them to be learning about the issues that face Wyoming and how we can, try to fight for what we believe is right and how we can stop those people who are, doing things that are going to be damaging and dangerous to the state. So I feel privileged to have had the chance to have my children along and my husband Phil and for us to be able to teach the kids those same lessons I learned, 35 years ago campaigning in Wyoming with my mom and dad.
Oh, yeah. Now, and again, if anybody's just joining us, we're talking with Liz Cheney. She's going to be out at the Oktoberfest Business Expo this weekend. We'll have the Cheney for Wyoming booth, and you'll be going around mingling and shaking hands, kissing babies, and all that good stuff. So, what else do you have on the plate coming up during the campaign? I mean, any other events coming up in Wyoming?
Yeah, we're all over the state. We've got a lot of events. Before we get to Gillette, we'll be in Cody for the Medical Association benefit, and then after Gillette, we'll be got some meet and greets planned in Carbon County and back in Natrona County. We basically, every day just about we're out on the road, meeting folks, talking to people. We're going to also be starting some door-to-door shortly here, and I'm really dedicated to, getting around to as many doors as possible between now and the primary next year, and having a chance to just, talk to folks and, visit with them in their own homes and talk about sort of their concerns for the future and how I think we can really make a difference. So we'll be out on the road a lot, and we're going to also be starting on the campaign website. My children are starting up a blog that's going to be called On the Road with Mom. They sort of said, okay, well, if we're campaigning with you, we want, folks to see things the way we're seeing them and see things through our eyes. So that'll be coming up over the course of the next week or so. That should be up live so people can, click on the website, which is cheneyforwyoming.com, and have a chance to see my kids' perspective on the race and how things are going out there on the trail.
Now, if I understand right, were you actually down at UW for homecoming over the weekend?
I was.
Yes.
Yep.
If I'd known that, I would have come up and said hi. I was actually down there for the game. It was quite an exciting game.
It was. It was a great game, and it was wonderful to be there. Terrific game, and wonderful at halftime to see all those high school bands out on the field. Just such a perfect, beautiful fall day, and it was really, really special to be there at homecoming and have a chance to see so many folks and have a chance to enjoy such a great game day.
Yeah, well, I wasn't quite prepared for the chilly part in the second half. I thought it was supposed to be sunny, so I didn't bring a heavier coat. But no. it was definitely worth braving the chill.
Yeah, no, that's right. Well, and the game got very close in the second half. So
oh yeah.
It was, I think everybody stuck around, and luckily it turned out the right way. But there were some nervous moments there.
Oh, there absolutely were. Trust me, I didn't even go to UW, but I think I might be a fan now after seeing that game. They certainly showed a lot of heart.
Yeah, they sure did, and Brett Smith's fantastic, so it's great to watch.
Oh, yeah. So, again, one more time, I just want to remind everybody we're talking with Liz Cheney. She's going to be out at the Oktoberfest Business Expo. It's this weekend, Saturday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come up and say hi. It's at the Camplex Central Pavilion. Free admission. There's a lot of vendors. And so if anybody wants to come up and say hi to Liz, I mean, what do you any message you want to give to them before they come out this weekend?
Well, I'd just love to see folks, anybody who, particularly if you haven't decided how you're going to vote yet, or, if you think you may be supporting my opponent, come by and let's have a chat. I think there are just a huge number of really important issues and issues that distinguish, Senator Enzi and myself. And it's a real chance to talk about sort of, my vision for the future and for where we can go as a state and the kind of representation we need to have in Washington. And I look forward to the chance to see folks. And if you have a baby, please bring babies because I love them. So no matter how you're going to vote, bring your baby.
Oh, there you go. I was just joking about the kissing baby. But so I guess politicians still do that, huh?
Well, look, I've got 5 kids, and so I obviously love babies. And if you bring a baby, I'll definitely hold him or her and may try to steal him or her. So,
well, I mean, I don't know if I would suggest that. You know how the media
that might not be good for the race.
Somebody's probably listening somewhere right now from some liberal blog. They're probably listening and well, I gotta say she's gonna steal babies.
Yeah, no, we better say that was a joke.
well, you know how that is. It'll be on MSNBC tonight.
It will.
But I want to thank you, Liz, for calling in. It's always good to hear from you, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again sometime soon. And again, it's this weekend, Oktoberfest Business Expo, the Camplex Central Pavilion, Cheney for Wyoming booth. Just come by and say hi. And I'm telling you guys, I mean, Liz is very approachable. I mean, I get easily starstruck, and it wasn't nervous at all first time meeting you. So it's
thank you very much, Don. I really appreciate that, and look forward to seeing you again Saturday and seeing all the great folks at the expo.
Yep, thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you again sometime soon.
Great. Take care.
Yep,
Bye.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, that was Liz Cheney again at the Oktoberfest Business Expo this weekend, Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., Camplex Central Pavilion. Admission's free, and besides the Cheney for Wyoming booth, there's going to be 115 vendors. I mean, I have the list here. I mean, it's everything from auto repair. We have some some nonprofit organizations. The VFW is going to be out there. Deluxe Harley Davidson. I'm just kind of going through and just reading random ones. There's 115 different vendors. The Gillette Gun Club is going to be out there. Gillette College, New York Life. And the VFW, like I said, Union Wireless. There's a little bit of something for everyone. There's entertainment. And again, Liz Cheney will be out there at the Cheney for Wyoming booth as well. So go out and check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. And with that, we're going to take a short break. We'll come back and we'll talk to Tanya Walker and Jessica Gladson about the Yes House Lights On After School program. Stay tuned. News Talk 1270 KIML.
Have an event you'd like to promote on the show? Email Don at doncarpenter@basonsradio.com.